are back on Talking Independent Books with our special guest today, Lee Bice-Matheson and J.R. Matheson, co-authors of Destiny's Gate. And during the break, we were talking some about some things, and I don't want to forget some of the things that we were talking about. But Lee, you wanted to mention the tagline for your book.
Yes, it's live from a place of love, it conquers all that is evil. And that's exactly how we feel about the character Paige Madison. That's how she lives her life, and we do too. So I just wanted to mention that.
That's awesome. Can you say that again?
Live from a place of love, it conquers all that is evil.
That is beautiful.
Thank you.
It really is. I think that's a great... If that's not enough inspiration to make you want to go buy Destiny's Gate, then I don't know what is.
Yes, in the world we live in, yes.
Exactly. I mean, there's so many things that we're confronted with on a daily basis. Sometimes I think people take, pure love for granted.
Right. That's right.
So, and here's the segue into this. If there's one thing that you want to say to the folks listening about Destiny's Gate, here's your chance. Feel free to plug away.
Okay. I would think people that would want to buy the book are those that have had experiences themselves, that have felt a cold spot, walked into a room where lights are flickering, all those kinds of things, right, JR?
Yeah.
And it's about Paige's spiritual awakening, and it's pretty well a step-by-step in how she deals with things, and luckily for her, she has a psychic mentor that helps her understand what's happening to her. So anybody that is interested in the subject of spirituality, and also with family, losing family members, it's all surrounding family and love and pureness of heart.
Well, and spirituality is one of those things, and I mean spirituality in that sense of the term, right? I mean, in dealing with the ethereal and supernatural.
Yes.
Is one of those things that, whether they admit it or not, I think folks can relate to. We've all lost someone who you want to believe that you still communicate with.
Yes.
We want to believe that there is someone there looking out for us, right?
Right.
So I think folks can relate to that.
Mm-hmm.
JR, were you going to say something?
Oh, no. I wasn't.
Okay. Okay, so, and what we were talking about during the break, I want to get back to that so I don't lose that point. We were talking about doing events and being, and I think this is another good connection here to what we were just talking about. Sometimes folks will come up to me at events and, mention things and pull out things from my books and that I had forgotten that I'd written. I'm still thinking of this whole big picture that I have in my head. So as it relates to the supernatural elements of your works, what kind of feedback do you get from folks when you're actually at events or you're doing book signings and you meet people in person? That's for either one of you.
What do you think, Jared? I think that we attract people that are interested in a subject. Would you agree?
Yeah, all sorts of different people with different perspectives, yeah.
Interested in as in they've had experiences, or from a more voyeuristic point of view.
Probably. Sorry, Justin. Go ahead.
I'm just going to say I'm sure there's a bit of both. Definitely we have some people who have had personal experiences, and others who are simply just interested in the subject matter, but haven't had their own experiences, maybe.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's for, we wrote for tweens and teens, but actually all ages are reading it. And at our last book signing, JR, remember at Manticore Books, the elderly lady I was telling her this is a teens tween series, and she said, "Oh, I'm buying this for myself." I'm reading it.
Yeah, a good story, honestly, a good story can't corral a certain age group. You get whoever's going to be interested is going to be interested, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, would you define, you said these are for young adults. I mean, would you classify that as your genre then?
Yes, we write for tweens and teens. You really can't, ignore both groups of age groups there. It's tweens and teens. Tweens love the series. I love the looks in their faces when they're buying the book. Teens challenge it a bit. We've had a lot of teens that love it, but we've had some teens that are like, no, don't like the series, and that's fine because, you know, we're writing, we like all the feedback that we get, right, JR?
Yeah.
So, but finding out that people of all ages are reading it was a bit of a shock to both of us, and so that's been very rewarding for us.
Well, I honestly, I think that speaks to the quality of the work then. I mean, that it transcends, you know, maybe your initial target audience of teen and tweens.
Right.
I mean, being successful isn't necessarily something that you can define out. People are going to like it. You know, I would not have a certain group of people follow me, but they do. You know, yeah. Apparently I'm huge in prison. You know, okay. But you know, I say that jokingly, but you know, it's okay. I think it speaks to the audience. So, you know, if there was something that you could tell the folks out there listening who want to maybe write in this genre or write for you know, a particular age group or the subject matter, you know, having created this very memorable character, and as we watch her grow and develop into the next book, what would you say to those folks?
Oh, that to me, the best thing that we ever did was think about her about 4 months before we wrote one word. We thought about her from what would she be like, you know, what are her physical characteristics, what is her personality type,
right. How
does she think? You have to get inside the character, right, JR? We've talked a lot about Paige. And so...
Well, you have to bring her to life, right?
You do. You have to bring her so much to life, like she's like a friend. You know? Do you know what I'm saying? So that by the time you start writing about her, it's so easy.
Yeah.
And making your list of what all the characteristics are, her eye color, hair color, but you just got to know her inside and out. And that's what, you've got to bring that believable character to life.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't think people can relate to the storyline.
I completely agree with you. I mean, it is, you know, I don't want to say playing God, but, you know, at some point that's exactly what you're doing. I like to think of it in those terms as opposed to a mad scientist just pulling pieces together.
Right. Yeah, you're creating a character that, you know, that's going to have her flaws, and she's going to have her strengths, and she, you know, she's going to have to reveal those throughout the storyline.
Right. And so we've now created this, you know, platform. I'm switching gears just a little bit here. We've created this platform because I have found that there is such a lack of commercial support for independent authors, and I have asked this of several of the guests on the show, and you know, I want to get your take on it, your respective takes on this. You know, JR, I know you're in school and you have a very, you know, impressive frame of work that you're dealing with, and you're going to graduate, and, you know, you will always be an author from here on out, though, you know, and you will always be forever tied to this industry. And I want to get your respective takes on both the commercial publishing industry and the independent author industry at this point.
Okay, well, I would say that our series could have gone the way of traditionally published. However, we don't fit inside the box per se.
Right.
You know, we wanted the creative control. I did get opinions from 2 large publishing companies that loved it, but I'm a type A. How are you, JR? You have type A personality. So, you know, from the cover, I don't know, from the cover, it's very artistic.
Right.
That was done meticulously with a graphic designer. When people pull it up on Amazon or whatever their favorite online store is, there's so much detail on it. We wanted that control, you know, down to the paper that it's printed on, the words that we use. I didn't want a lot of things edited out.
Right.
You know, from a traditional publisher. So for being an independent author, I think that if you believe in your work enough, that people start asking you after a while. Like, it's changed for us. It used to be I had to knock on the doors.
Right.
But now people are actually emailing us and finding us through Bice-Matheson.ca or however and asking us to do things. And so once you get that traction and it goes out online and also doing the personal showings like you were saying about doing a bookstore signing,
right.
we like to do those. We've done 3 or 4 of those. I don't know. I think that the independent authors, many of them are very successful as long as they are motivated and passionate about driving their story.
Right. That's right.
You know, and commercial, I respect that. But sometimes I think, wouldn't that be lovely? Because they can open doors that we can't.
Well, and I think you made a very interesting point and a very apt point in that things are changing for us.
Yeah.
You know, with amazing advances in technology, and you have companies like Amazon who provide these platforms for authors to do this on a scale that has, historically not been done since the Industrial Revolution.
Right.
You now got the wherewithal for someone to sit down at a computer and write out a novel and publish it.
Right.
Right, and that's amazing. That's mind blowing.
It is.
And it doesn't necessarily fly in the face of commercial publishing, right? But it gives us. You're right. You're absolutely right. It gives us that creative control from the paper that it's printed on to the words that go on that paper. Hallelujah. Good for you for pointing that out. But
yes, that's right. Yeah, I mean, I think we both love being independent authors, right, JR?
Yeah, it's really about just getting your name out there and having all that creative control and controlling, what we're doing, where we're having our book signings, everything. It's a great experience.
It is a wonderful experience, and when you look directly into and this doesn't matter honestly if you're a commercial writer or if you're an independent author. I say it more with a slant towards independent authors because we're able to do this a lot more now.
Right.
For all of the reasons that I just mentioned. But when you look into the eyes of someone who, you have given that modicum of, I don't want to say pleasure because that denotes a whole other thing, but you know what I mean. You have given them this satisfaction, right, from something that you created that they just read. There's nothing like that in the world.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right.
And so, it's go ahead, Lee.
I was going to say the feedback on Destiny's Gate and the Bice-Matheson series, the most common phrases that I get, and I don't know about you, JR, so you'll tell in a second, but it's like people say it's like a movie going on inside their head, or that they, I have a lot of people say that they read it just before bedtime, and the characters follow them into their dreams, so be careful.
Right.
I hope it's a good thing, and it seems to be a good thing,
Right.
But what do you think, JR?
Yeah, generally I hear that it just flows really easily, it's a very quick and easy read in a good way that, once you start, it's hard to put it down until you're done, so.
Yeah, but there's a lot in those pages.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's so much going on. Those books are paced perfectly. And you don't miss an iota of what's happening, and when you read them, you feel like you're a part of her world.
Oh, that's great.
Well, you feel like more appropriately, you feel like you're a part of her.
Right. Oh, that's the best compliment we could get.
That is what I think you shoot for as an author, and if what I heard you say correct, that's exactly why you write.
Exactly. To bring the reader in. We want the reader to feel and experience it and all the emotions of it.
Right. That's awesome. So we're running kind of close to time here, but I want to give you guys time to talk about some of the ancillary things you have going on with Destiny's Gate. It's won some awards. You're a part of a is it a writer's workshop? Or is it a contest that happens every year?
like our series won a literacy award series through the local Aurelia Library.
Right.
And it's the Readers Advisory Panel. That was with Wake Me Up Inside. And that has continued with Destiny's Gate, and so it's entered, as the series is entered into what's called Battle of the Books.
Battle of the Books, that's what I was thinking about.
It goes through the Simcoe County school system, so all the kids have to read it, and then it becomes part of a competition of all of these books that are listed. And so we're a part of that. We promote literacy. We do many teen groups, and I did a writing workshop, you're right, at the Gravenhurst Opera House.
Okay.
Which was a really fun night because they didn't know it, but the teens had to end up writing a story and then being at the podium like we would do and read their story, and all the kids did it. And I'm telling you, it was
awesome.
the experience I've ever had is seeing these kids get up. And
very cool.
the supervisors there were shaking their heads saying, I cannot believe you got them to do it. And that was a compliment, as well. So, and we have, coming up this year, we have two big venues in Toronto. Word on the Street is one, and Inspire, we're going back to the Toronto International Book Festival. One's in September, the other's in November.
Okay.
And we have a huge announcement, but I can't make it yet, which I wish I could have by now. I was trying to get them to tell me the date of it, but I can't say anything till that comes out. But so things are getting a little bit bigger.
Well, once you get acknowledgement of that, then you let us know, and we will put it under your profile and make sure that it's there.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So, what other appearances or events do you have that are coming up?
That's
you just mentioned two. Word on the Street.
And the Inspire TIBF, those are in September, November. We have some bookstores that we'll be going to. We support independent bookstores. We started our book tour last September, so we've been to the Bookkeeper in Sarnia, Manticore Books in Aurelia, and to Blue Heron Books in Uxbridge, Ontario. So going around Ontario where we live in Canada.
Right.
And we're going to eventually end up in Montreal, I believe, at a book signing.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Well, is there one thing that you want to say as a final thought to your fans or anyone listening?
We would like to thank everybody who supports us. We would, from the bottom of our hearts, because we have a lot of fans around the world. They're on our Facebook page. So thank you for always being there and liking and supporting us. And the other thing is that our series, anybody can walk into over 25,000 bookstores worldwide and order it in. It's as simple as that.
Right.
And we're online too. But thank you to everybody, and thank you so much, Rico, for having us.
Thank you for having us here.
No, it's been my pleasure. I can't extend my gratitude enough. Like I said at the beginning of the show, it's rewarding for me to be able to talk to other authors and, just the shared experiences that we have, to be able to connect with somebody on the level of being an author and knowing what that means. I can appreciate that, and every time, there's never enough time for these. I feel like it's always very quick, and they go very quickly. So just know that you have all of my gratitude for being a part of this and sharing this little part of my journey with me.
Well, thank you so much for having us. We're so happy to be a part of this. Thank you.
Absolutely. If you have enjoyed our interview today with Lee Bice-Matheson and J.R. Matheson, authors of the Destiny's Gate, then won't you consider donating to Next Novel Radio? We have a great team of folks here, from independent reviewers to graphic designers to our own proofreader and assistant and show host, who are all doing this all by their bootstraps. So we make no money from doing this. All of the donations go back into supporting Next Novel Radio, our programming, content, licensing, and web hosting fees. You can donate by accessing the Make a Donation tab there at the top of your page, or by pressing the donate button right there in your radio player. We appreciate any and all donations, and just know that any donation goes, again, back into keeping the site. We are heading into February with a new list of independent author showcases, and that means a whole new set of interviews for talking independent books. So we invite you back here for next month, and we appreciate your support. Thank you for listening. I've been your host, Ricardo Fleshman, wishing you well. Now back to Next Novel Radio.